So this is the current situation. It's cold out here right now. It's funny, it was just almost 70 degrees a few days ago. And they're gonna be building right here. 4,600 square foot house. Big old house. Good day, everybody. This is Reggie with Ashley Lambert Realty, giving you guys more information for your everyday new construction building needs. Today, we're going to be talking about one of my clients' houses, and this house is actually a basement house that's being built in Vermilion by the builder named Pulte. So at Ashley Lambert Realty, we believe in walking lots and checking behind builders because builders make mistakes, and you don't want to just have somebody who just shows up for a commission check. We believe in working hard for it. You see these pink lines here, guys? These are different markings for the house. The house is primarily going to sit right here. It's going to have some decent space between the houses, it looks like. This is a half an acre lot. Ranch houses are very wide footprint, so usually they need more acreage than a traditional two-story home. I'm assuming this is gonna be right here. It's gonna be where the back of the house is at based upon the markings that they have. They do include a deck. It does not include a walk down or stairs to the bottom. So this is where they're gonna start putting the foundation. They're gonna start working on the footing of the house. Ground is interesting. It's really interesting. It's red clay, but it's an interesting mixture of it. See all that clay over there? So this will be the side of the house. If we were to stand here, exactly like this, they're gonna build a drainage system to make sure that the water moves off of the foundation of the house, that is not seeping into the basement. That's one thing you don't want in a basement home. You don't want your foundation to be absorbing water. You want to get that water out of there, and you want to send all that water back there to that drain, to that runoff. That's a pretty steep runoff too. Yeah, pretty steep. We'll stand over here and look at the back side. Right here, this is the back. Pulte's a good builder. They've been around for a long time, and I want to go ahead and talk about some processes that happens right after you go under contract for new construction, because I don't think that gets covered or has really been covered like that on the internet. So I want to go ahead and drop some dimes here, right? First things first, when you walk in and you say, okay, I want to buy this house, obviously you guys know my very first step is you always want to make sure you have a realtor to represent you, because honestly, that's not going to cost you an additional price. The price for the realtor's commission is technically already put into the price of the home. It's just a matter of, do you want representation or not? Don't be fooled by how nice people feel towards you as far as the builder's representative, because at the end of the day, they work for the builder and they're looking out for the builder's best interest. That being said, let's say you signed the contract because you've got a realtor with you, right? Now you're moving along and you're saying, well, what's next? What happens after I sign this contract? Well, the very next thing that you have to do is you have to put a deposit down. This can vary between different builders. Some builders we've seen it be as low as $5,000. Some builders we've seen it be as high as $40,000. Yes, $40,000. So it just depends on the price range of where you're building and what the builders are looking for, because every builder is a little different. The next thing that will happen with the process will be finalizing your decisions. So usually after you sign the contract, you have X amount of days, usually like a week, to ensure that all of your exterior or your structural things are in place, that you finalize your selections. Otherwise, they can either change it, which will be an additional cost, or they can't change it, meaning it's just done. It's just how it is. So that goes down to elevation and things like that. Usually after your deposit is put in, that's when your elevation materials are ordered, because that's when they're ready to get started with preparing to build the house. So you've been under contract for a week. You've put in your deposits, you've paid in full, you're ready to go. You got your loan approval. You need to make sure you get a loan approval, whether that be with the builder's lender or through an outside lender. I would prefer you just look for the best deal shop around. You'll find that some places are giving better offers than other places. So definitely look around for the best lending offer that you can get, okay? And that's perfectly fine to shop around for lending offers within 30 days of getting your credit pulled. It's a hard pull, so just be prepared for that, be ready for that. Make sure you have all your documents in line. And that goes for your pay stubs, your taxes, and those things like that the lenders are going to need in order to get you pre-approved. Now, you don't need to be fully pre-approved at the very beginning, meaning that whatever you do 6 months before you close, it's still 6 months before you close. You still have to keep things going. You have to get things set up. I recommend that my clients get their stuff in order, get as much stuff put together as possible, and get as close to a final state as possible to where all they have to do is just to continue to give bank statements and to continue to give pay stubs. That's usually the best place to be, because at that point, the lender's just simply waiting on the appraisals to come back. And yes, there will be an appraisal for a new construction home. So now that we've gone under contract, you've paid the deposit, you've gotten your approval letter sent in from you, by your lender for you, to the builder, and you should be good to go. The first goal or first checkpoint has been met. You've basically said, this is the house I want, here's the money, and I can afford it, okay? Now we're moving on to the design part. The design part for the interior specifically. Usually there's a design center meeting, and with COVID it's a little different. Sometimes the realtors can attend, sometimes they cannot. But with the design center meeting, you're going to sit there and you're going to pick a lot of selections. So you've already got your base price, which is you've got your lot, you've got the package for the home and the elevation that you've picked. And also maybe if you've done something like a basement or things like that, that typically will raise the price up as well too. Now with the design center, depending on how far you want to go, you can push it. Now I've seen people spend as little as like $5,000 to $10,000 in design center because they just feel like they're good to go with what comes with the package. And I've seen people go pretty crazy in the design center because there are some expensive things. There are different levels to different products in the design center. Typically level 1 is what is included, meaning that it won't cost you an additional price to have level 1 finishes. So that could be for flooring, for carpeting, for cabinets, for countertops, things like that. Now, if you want to say go up and up and up, usually we'll hear about level 3, level 4. So those, what you'll see with those is they'll be a little bit better. And the difference between level 1 and level 4 usually is pretty big. I mean, you could be talking about going from plastics to like natural wood or something like that. That's the kind of difference that you could see with level 1 to level 4. Obviously, the more carpet you want or the less carpet you want, because there's expensive carpet too. But if you wanted like less carpet and you wanted more hardwood, that's also something that has to be finalized at the design center as well. So now that you've gone to the design center, you've finalized your interior selections, you've already got your structural selections finalized, and you're ready to go with the money, right? You're just waiting. They have to start building your house. So they're gonna start prepping your lot. One of the first meetings you're gonna have outside of your design center meeting is going to be a pre-construction meeting where you're going to meet with the builder's representative again, your realtor, and the on-site manager, the person who's actually responsible for basically the general contractor that's looking over the building of your house. That person is a very important person. You need to make sure that that person is somebody who you got their information in case you need to talk to them, right? Reach out to them. That's what I'm talking about, email. And that's the person who you're going to primarily be coordinating with if you see something that's not correct. If your realtor sees something that's not correct, it's going to be the on-site manager. So after your pre-construction meeting, what usually happens is they'll begin to break ground on your property and start building it, which is going to be really exciting. That's the really cool part, when you start to see the progress of what you've put your money towards actually start to take form. That's really fun. That's really awesome. My recommendation is that you keep an eye on your property. You definitely ask questions. And if you see something that doesn't look correct, then definitely speak up and say something. So one thing I want to mention here is sometimes with the builder, on-site agents, they don't always keep your realtor in the loop because a lot of people don't come in there with the realtor. So you need to make sure that if they're telling you something about a change in a price or a change in a date, completion date specifically, that you always communicate these things back to your realtor. Your realtor needs to be in the loop of things. They'll definitely work with the realtor, but it's just that sometimes by habit, they'll just directly contact the buyer, and you need to be wary of that as well. because there could be things that change in the procedural aspect of the buying process that if your realtor doesn't know these dates change, they could be impacted and it could impact you financially. Hi, I'm Reggie and welcome to my real estate YouTube channel. I'm a North Carolina realtor with Ashley Lambert Realty, servicing the Charlotte metro area. On my channel, I post videos explaining the home buying and selling process. I also have some tips and tricks for real estate, DIY projects, and of course, home video walkthroughs. Make sure you subscribe for new content and comment below to introduce yourself. I look forward to hearing from you.